the Department of Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. They are responsible for the UK's energy strategy.
We are here because we are particularly opposed to recent UK government decisions about climate change. Now, the IPCC report, which came out last week, made clear that we cannot start new oil exploration if we hope to achieve our targets.
On Thursday, the government released its energy strategy, and that strategy is to licence new oil and gas projects.
I've glued my hand to the window because I don't want to just be moved away and silenced. The government needs to listen.
So all these ladies and gentlemen glued on are all scientists?
If people as privileged as we are have decided to do this, perhaps there is something wrong.
The energy strategy does not do any of the things that we need it to do. It seeks to license new oil and gas projects which won't be ready for 28 years, and it avoids making any decisions about how we're going to bring down the carbon emissions of the UK energy sector.
Last year there was a very prominent report that came out from the International Energy Authority that said we absolutely cannot licence any further fossil fuel extraction projects. But what we have already in the pipeline is too much.
In my 45 years in science, I've spent quite a lot of time sitting around a table advising policymakers. And I remember when this issue was tobacco, and policymakers were influenced by the tobacco industry. Today, I fear that the government is influenced by the fossil fuel industry. It's a very rich industry. It's heavily subsidized by the government. And therefore, I feel that there's an inordinate amount of influence from that industry on government. And you can also see an inordinate amount of influence on media, many of whom linked to the fossil fuel industry will not publicize the risks we face from climate change.
It should be on the front page of every newspaper. We should be talking about it.
It's not just about making sure we can survive on this planet. It's also a real tragedy to be involved in a mass extinction event that we are causing.
So we're polluting groundwaters, we're polluting the air that we breathe, we're distributing plastics and so forth into our soils.
My specialty in agriculture depends on the ecosystem services, not just water, but the natural enemies of pests, the plant varieties on which we will depend for producing more food in future, are all affected by climate change, which is eroding these natural habitats.
We import 45% of our food in this country. So we are going to be in a situation very soon where only rich people are going to be able to afford food. The government is not preparing us for mitigation either.
Their role is to come up with a strategy that will keep us safe. And they are not doing that, they are failing us.
We've known for a long time now that the support for renewable energy is incredibly high. Vast majorities of the general public support a shift away from fossil fuels. We've told them that. They're just not listening.
There was time, we now don't have time, we just have to stop. And what we have to do when we're doing that is we have to protect the most vulnerable people in society so that it's not them that pays the price. Because currently, the climate crisis is exacting horrible misery on people who are at the bottom of the pile in the global south. And the energy crisis in the UK is exacting poverty on people who are at the bottom of the pile here.
At the moment, the sustainable choice is too often the more expensive and the more difficult one. And that's not because of ordinary people, that's because of policies that are made by our government.
The solutions are there, investing in renewable, insulating home.
At a climate conference at the Royal Society the other day, the Chief Scientific Officer of the Department of Business, when asked what is it that we can do to address the conclusions of the latest IPCC report, he said we need to increase the level of public pressure on the government to force them to take action. So that is exactly what we're doing here.
We are trying to sound the alarm as loudly as we can.